Hey y'all, Venture Brad here, and wanted to take a second to talk about tires. Tires, are quite a big issue, especially when you're on the road and everything, off-road, and so much depends on your tires. People always ask me, oh, this trail and that trail, can I make it? My first question always is, what tires are on your rig? For many years, for some reason, the BFG all-terrain TA2 was a popular tire. Yeah, I'm sure it was great on the road, but man, every time I saw somebody of those, the first TAs, the original all-terrain from BFG, not the two, sorry. The new one's out way better sidewall, but the first one, when I remember seeing that thing, and I'd see somebody out on the trail with those, yeah, I was just always so scared if it was one of those side hilling trails or something where you're willing to risk a slide wall cut. My sister, in her pre-runner, shoved a stick about the size of my thumb through the sidewall of her BFG. So, yeah, and you never get a flat in a good situation. If it's on the highway, drive on that stupid rim. Get somewhere safe. A rim, even an expensive rim, is not worth your life. Or the passengers in your car or any of that. Drive off the road, get to somewhere safe, it don't matter. But when you're off-roading and you're wheeling, when you have a flat, it's normally not in a good position. If you're side hilling or do something, you rip a side hill out, that's now the low side, and because you lost all that air, the vehicle's leaning even further. That's why I'm not a real big fan of huge tires either, well, for many reasons, especially a highway vehicle. But so now you're pinched or you're up against a rock or whatever else, changing your tires, I don't know. To me, spending money in good tires is just cheap insurance. Now over the years, I've four-wheeled my whole life. I've always been a four-wheeler and I enjoy the heck out of it. And I've gone through all kinds of different tires. When I worked at the four-wheel drive shop, I used to get a bunch of takeoff tires because people drive their mall crawlers around with big old 33s, 35s, 37s, and all they would do is mall crawl them. Well, the tires get hard and they get weird, so about halfway through their life, you couldn't balance them, they wouldn't handle, the vehicle would shake going down the road. You put a new set of tires on, and they would always come in the four-wheel drive shop, I need my suspension fixed, or they want a steering dampener. Everybody wants a steering dampener. A steering dampener, most of the time people use as a band-aid. It's not. If you have to use a steering dampener for a band-aid, you have a problem. Fix the problem. Tire balance, tire balance, tire balance. It matters so much, especially when you have all this. This tire's 100 pounds or so, 80, 100 pounds. It's a lot of rotating mass out there. You have to be up on balance. So at the four-wheel drive shop, I used to get all these takeoff tires because they would shake and rattle and stuff. Well, I go throw them on the Jeep or whatever else and go wheel it, and they'd get better because you would need the tires and you'd flex them all up and all that. So I ran from Coopers to Wild Peaks to MTRs are a really great durable tire. I ran those on my Jeep for years. The problem is they are too tough. Unless you're my Jeep, my little M38A1 was too light for them. So you could pretty much pull the valve stems out and go Jeeping on them, and you would never worry about denting your rim or the tire coming off or anything. They stuck on so dang good. You never had to carry a spare. You weren't going to tear up an MTR. The problem with the MTR is they're so hard, they wouldn't conform around a rock. You would feel them shaking, like they had like a more of a static harmonic going down the road because of the stiffness. But just, in a little Jeep, not carrying a spare is a big advantage because that takes up a lot of space. So I ran MTRs for years. That was my tire of choice for Jeeps. Well, then when I started overlanding the Suburban more, I read into it more and more and more, and I was planning on going to Alaska, and I found out that these Goodyears, the DuraTrac, or excuse me, the Wrangler DuraTrac, is the tire of choice for all the slope trucks. Everything up in the Yukon, everything that's working, the Dalton and all that, they run this tire. So obviously that says a lot. Another real big thing that you need to pay attention to when you're going out in the sticks. I knew a buddy that took his Dodge up in Nunavik, and he spent a month and a half up there waiting on people to get a tire pretty much hitchhiked, however he could, PayPaling people through the way or whatever. That tire probably cost him over $1,000 to get up to him, plus the time he had waiting and all that, because he ran not a really, I think it was like a 35, or it wasn't even a 37. It wasn't huge. It wasn't a super oddball for down in the lower 48 tire size. But when you start getting out in the extremes, you know, you can't go down the highway with the tire down, especially off-road, especially like this truck has lockers in both ends. You definitely can't do that. It'll piss all kinds of things off. So if you plan on going out in the sticks somewhere, get a tire that is readily available, that everyone's using, because obviously the locals figured out what tires work. And then that way, if you're stuck on the side of the road or wherever else, a tire's not a month away. You know, just little things like that. So anyways, this truck and these tires, the date code on these things, the 36th week of 15. If you don't know how to read that, these little ovals you'll see in the tire stamped in, it's the 36th week. There's 52 weeks in a year, and that's the 15th year. So being that it's July 2020, those are 7-8-year-old tires. When I put these things on, now obviously they're probably past their born on date, but the past year or so I've been running around down in the desert down here. Haven't been doing a whole heck of a lot of four-wheeling, so I haven't really worried about it too much. But the point of this is I'm showing you that these tires have just done me so well, and why I'm replacing them with the same thing again, just because it's a great combination of toughness. I've, knock on wood, never had a flat on these things. I've never slit a sidewall. You could tell, you know, this is a 1-ton Suburban, or Detroit lockers in both ends. Suburbans aren't light, and most of the time I am packed up like a Conestoga wagon. I got so much stuff in this thing. But you could just see this tire, and I don't treat this truck lightly. There's chunks just gone out of it, and every one of these. And really the reason why it's so bad is because of the desert heat starting to crack and dry them out. They're just that old. But look how durable those tires are. Just super stuff. And this rim lock, bead lock thing that they got going on here really helps give space to your rim. When your tire's low and aired down, it rolls up around the edge of the rim. It just helps lock it on. These tires go straight down the road. I balanced these once like a year ago, because I had a front end shimmy. Maybe it was probably actually 2 years ago. Yeah, it's been a couple of years, but I've only balanced them once, just because I had front end shimmy and I wanted to, you know, not beat up the new components I was putting on. So I just had my tires balanced. I don't think they did much for the change in the weight. These tires are just that good. They ride great going down the road. You don't hear them. That's another big thing to me on road trips and stuff, is fatigue. I don't like loud exhaust systems. I like Dynamat. I like window seals that seal, all that whistling, tire hum, that shake and vibration. When you're putting down the miles, when you're trying to go somewhere, that all adds into your fatigue. It adds to your stress, and you don't notice it because it's all in the background, but it really does add up. Like I said, stock mufflers, tires that don't hum, tires that track. It's no fun to have stuff that just, you know, some of these tires are like the MTR. You catch kind of a little bit in the dirt or something like that, that tire wants to pull into the dirt. And these tires don't do nothing weird like that. I just can't say enough about good tires and a good rig. You know, this, just to give you an example, this truck's been a couple trips to Alaska. It's been over the Continental Divide. It's been quite a few times Texas, Baja. You know, obviously we're Arizona and monsoon season, but this truck's got around. And like I said, I've been nothing but impressed with it. Just look at that. Look at that, you know. So anyways, this is Adventure Brad. You can't recommend these DuraTracs enough. They're just such a sweet tire. They wear good, track good. Just makes one heck of a truck. So anyways, make good tire choices, make good choices out on the road. Don't always go with what looks cool or what the magazine is telling you to get. think about things. Think about where you're going to get a tire in a pinch, about what tire sizes. This Suburban is sitting on a Cuck V military chassis and driveline and stuff, so it sits a little higher. But you know, this little poor Suburban with the Detroit lockers will go more places than 99% of the people who think they have the baddest Jeep out there. It's all driver, it's all line choice. You know, in the 10+ years I've owned this truck, this is the one dent I put in it, and that was from a glacier run. And we were down in trying to get to the glacier up in Alaska, and we were down in, yeah, this truck's been on glaciers, like literally parked on glaciers with these tires, these exact tires. So they do pretty good. And I never felt, just to add to that ice and all that, I never felt the need to chain up. I would run in 4-wheel drive and run lockers I'd just run my hubs locked in all the time. If I ever felt the need, I'd just pull it down into 4-wheel drive. With Detroit lockers, you have to know how to drive Detroit lockers. You kind of drift corners and stuff like that. And there's been a few left-hand turns. People think this thing was part of Tokyo Drift. But if you know how to drive them, Detroits do well. But like I said, it's not how big a lift kit you have or all the doodads and all that. It's driver and it's good, solid choices. You make good, solid choices. You don't fatigue yourself on the road to get there, humming tires and loud exhaust and all that, and you get there and you just drive up that trail like you're picking daisies and it's no big deal, and watch everybody behind you get stuck because they were too excited because they bought everything out of the catalog but didn't spend any time on the trail. All right, you guys, have fun now.